All you gotta do, man, all you gotta do is pay attention. Pay attention and you're gonna know what's for you and you're gonna know what's not for you, right? And it's simple as that. But you must understand there's a difference between God putting you through a challenge and you going through certain things and you going through it to build resilience, and when something just isn't meant for you, right? It's like when certain people was out there trying to hustle. Every time they went out and tried to hustle, they went to jail the most. And some people made it through. I know it might sound crazy, right, that I'm using that analogy, but it's real, true facts that our path must be paved, right? We must go through certain things in order to transmute everything that we formerly went through. It's like building the testimony through the test. You know what I mean? So, like in the streets, when you had niggas in the streets that weren't meant to be serving, they would go to jail over and over and over and over because it wasn't meant for you to make it. Oh, you talking crazy right now. So you saying it was meant for somebody to serve, right? Sin came into the world, right? Sin came into the world. So now that it's in the world, you're going to need people that God uses to strengthen other individuals through their testimony. That's why they tell you no test, no testimony, right? So if there's no test, there's no testimony, and the testimony isn't for you. Your testimony is for somebody else to get through, right? Your testimony is to build empowerment within other individuals that are going through some of those same experiences. That way you can pull them out of the darkness. That's what a chosen one is. That's what that is, no matter what it is, right? Because if you look at the scripture, all the great people that God even chose, guess what? They wasn't perfect. All of them fumbled. David fumbled. Samson fumbled. And that's really what opened the mind. David put somebody on the front line because he wanted his lady. He wanted his lady, so he put David put this man on the front line and get smacked, right? And not only that, Samson is the one that changed my whole perspective on what true judgment was, right? Because everybody hollering about you can't judge, you can't judge, you can't judge. But the scripture literally tells you, judge ye not harshly, unless you will be judged. So that means don't be a harsh judge, because it's a whole book of judges. Everybody judges, but it goes to the extent that what you're doing. You understand? So it tell you don't judge harshly so you don't be judged. Now, when it went to Samson, right? Samson was chosen, right? From birth, a Nazarite. Angel came to his mother, told him, don't drink, don't do nothing while you have this child within your womb. God sent him there on a mission. I knew who you were before you was in the womb. That means you existed before God sent you down into a specific feminine womb for you to manifest into this world to do what God sent you here, ordained for you to do. But we don't remember that. That's when we leave the soul region, right? So Samson came down, and when he came down into his mother's womb, guess what? Now his mother couldn't do none of these things, but guess what he came in the world doing? He came in the world drinking alcohol. He came in the world fornicating. He came in the world going against all the things that it seemed that God made a law for us not to do. But guess what? He still did it, okay? So when I looked at that, when I first read it through my carnal mind, through my fleshly mind, through my judgmental mind, not understanding and not looking through my spiritual eye, guess what happened? I was like, man, this man, he off the chain. I'm from the street, so I used to have to look at everything how I looked at the streets. That's how I began to understand different things, right? So, good morning. So when I looked at this, right, Samson took a foreign wife, right, of the enemy. He's sleeping with the enemy, intentionally knowing that he's sleeping with the enemy, right? He sleep with the enemy. Boom. Then he make a bet. He betting against the ops. He betting with the ops because he go with one of their girls. Sleeping with the enemy, going against the laws of God, right? Second thing he do, he make a bet. When he make this bet, he lose. Because he tell her the answer to the riddle. And she tell them. Again, I'm gonna put it straight like this. You messing with a chick from the other side. Yeah, she like you, but look, she got to live over here. This is where she been bred at. This is where her whole family at. So when it come down to it, guess what she gonna do? She gonna spill the beans for her side. So guess what? She ain't finna abandon her whole family for you. And that was clear, but guess what? He still told her. But guess how he paid him? He went and smacked them, 30 of their people, took their stuff. The other side is like he going to the other side, taking people out from the other side to pay people from the other side. He ain't robbing Peter to pay Paul. He taking the enemy straight up through there. And guess what? That's what it said before he did it. Guess what the scripture said? And the Spirit of the Lord moved him to. That's what it said. It said the Spirit of the Lord moved him. And guess what? They knew that it was a mighty man in Israel. How they knew that? How they knew that? Right? Because that's why they tell you, you can't judge. Because you don't know the mind of God. Right? You don't know the mind of God. You don't know the mind of God. The things that are foolish to man is wisdom to God. God's wisdom is foolishness to man. Because we don't know. Why is it like that? Why he did it like that? We don't know. Right? But it freed them from bondage. Right? And then the last thing that he did was his major sacrifice. Right? When he asked God for the power one more time, because guess what he did? He told the enemy about where his strength came from. These are significant lessons. It's showing you it ain't just about a female. It's showing you how the enemy will play close to you. It's showing you how you can literally be sleeping in bed with the enemy. So be careful what you tell people. Oh, well, what about trust? What about this? What about that? Yeah, you're supposed to have all that. Supposed to have all that. But when it's something from God, you never reveal the things from God that God never told you to reveal, because if God wanted to reveal it to them, he will reveal it to them. I ain't gonna say he, neither. Right? But God will reveal that if your partner is supposed to know certain things about you. Right? If it's your true partner. But anyway, God chooses these type of things to make the change. So again, going back to what I was saying, pay attention, because you'll know what's meant for you. Right? I say pay attention to what's going on, because you'll know what you're meant to be doing and what you're not meant to be doing. So when you start to pay attention, you will notice patterns in your life. Everybody. It's human nature. If anybody sits down and just reflect on their life, they're going to always start to detect patterns. You're going to always start to detect patterns. When you start to detect these patterns, that's how you know how to move. That's when you start to switch it up. That's when you start to heal. That's when you start to elevate. When you start to pay attention and notice the patterns in your life. Right? So when you know something ain't working, whether you notice it physically or it's something that's going on spiritually, you got to pay attention to the outcome. You got to pay attention to the outcome. Give y'all a testimony. Give y'all a testimony. I ain't gave this testimony yet. No, I gotta watch this time, or I just shorten the video. So, give y'all a testimony. I always receive different kind of revelations, different kind of insights. You know, like I might just feel a certain way and know something is going on. Some people might say something, but it doesn't seem to connect, but somehow it connects in my mind, right? I might just get a flash, you know, I might have a dream. Somebody might just walk up and randomly say something. It's kind of like, why I'm making this post now? Because I woke up this morning and a young brother I know about 19 years old, he watched one of my videos and he was like, you know, you teach very well. You know what I mean, bro? You should start a podcast or something like that, you know? And he not knowing that I had already did this before. But I just didn't push it because, for one, I wasn't consistent. So now a partner of mine needs to go to this building downtown. I walk in the house and it's this big thing going on about the education system, how they should teach. Now everybody in here from 14 to 18 to the mama and the grandma, right? So they talk about the education system, how the education system is, blah, 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 blah. How they ain't teaching what they supposed to be teaching them and all that. So I let everybody speak, and then when it got to me to explain how deep the education system goes, from the racism that they use in education in the U.S. We wasn't supposed to be in school. Schools wasn't built for us. We already know this, right? I explained how they use visual manipulation to manipulate us into believing that we're less than, and how slavery, I mean, they only basically show most of our history started from slavery. So now, and then I use how they use the cartoons, the videos, the systematic things that they did to manipulate the community. I explained to them, you know, like, do they know what the project is? The first project. So when they was like, they didn't know, okay, the first project is what they built, right? And they built it strategically to see how we will operate on low income taxes in Washington, D.C. But what they did, once they seen the black people thriving and striving, what they did, that's when they pushed that dope in them. So now they never going to teach us the education system that was in our ancient roots. Some from right here in America on this land, they didn't teach them this education system. They don't teach them the education system of Africa, Egypt, Mesopotamia. They don't teach them this education, ancient China, India. They don't teach them this type of education, and they don't show them these type of images. Copper colored beings, melanated beings, they don't show them those images. All the images that they use, right, that they were showing them over time of superheroes was all white heroes. And guess what? That triggers something in the mind. Don't you see that they teach with pictures? They teach with images. So guess what? If you feel like you don't come from nothing great, you never can think you could be great. You're going to always doubt something within yourself, because what the system has implanted in your psyche through psychological warfare, right? It's just like my uncle, when I got out and we went to talking about this Indian, and I'm telling everybody, man, we Indian. I feel it in my, and it wasn't, I just felt it. I felt it with everything in me. I started looking at some of the things I was always attracted to. Like a kid, I was always looking for arrows. I always wanted to go in the woods and hunt, and I'm born in Orlando, Florida. I go to the country and I feel like I'm right at home. So I started to feel it like, man, you know what? I got blood like that really over here from in this land. And then on my spiritual journey, the connection that I had to the land and certain places that I go. So when my uncle told me, he said, nephew, you know, when I was young and my granddaddy used to tell us that we was Indian, that he was Indian, he said, when I went to school, the pictures that they showed me of Indians ain't look like my granddaddy, so I ain't never believe them. That's firsthand confirmation how they strategically manipulate us through vision, thought, word, through pattern recognition. It's like if you sit down and watch something over and over and over and over and over again, it becomes embedded in your psyche, right? It's manipulation. It's manipulation. It's just how, like, you could look around right now and people think it's a game about a simulation. You could look around right now and some people look around and be like, yo, this dude is doing the same thing he's been doing for 40 years. The same exact thing, right? And you never know why. You never know why. You never know why when stuff get hard, people go back to what they used to. They go back to what they know how to do because it's been embedded in your brain. Now, once you start to realize this, this is when you start to work on yourself and clearing and breaking those patterns. It's not gonna be easy because it's gonna always rise back up because it's bedded so deep within you, right? It's bedded so deep within you. So back to the testimony that I was giving before I went all over there. I know that I was supposed to be moving, right? God blessed me like 3 different times, like out the blue. The first time, one of my companies gave me $5,000, right? Give me a $2,500 check to get my license. They asked me how much I need. I told them like $2,500. They wanted me to build a team, right? Door knocking and all this here. This one company, I can say they gave me that money to do it and they ain't want it back. So they asked me what I need. I just came up with a number. Boom. They gave me a $2,500 check. Boom. Next thing you know, they turn around and give me another $2,500 check. Boom. I'm like, yo, what this for? Like, I ain't even know what it was. But like when I walk in the office, you know, boss man look at me and he just like, hey, you know, that's how certain things shifted in my life. And not only that, a couple things like that happened. So now when God is trying to show you something, and why I say pay attention to the patterns, you're gonna understand through this testimony right here. So after I kept getting my blessings, God had wanted me to do certain things that I wasn't doing, right? I kept asking God, why did he put me right back in the same community where like I did all my dirt at? Like, this is where everything went down at. Like, literally this is where it started at, you know? So from getting out, going home, and then ended up when I got my first place, going right back to like a place a street that I done got shot on. A street where my homeboy done got killed on. A street where I know every house over here that people done trapped out of. Like, God, why you put me back right here? And I heard to bring a change. So, you know, I still ain't thinking nothing of it. So Kim White, when I got my car, I'm like, okay, my brother got a business. I called Kim White to do the car. And as he watching the car, we right on 18th in the Noya. When he watching the car, I'm just paying attention like, bro, look where we at right now. You know what I mean? Right back on the same street where was trapping right across the street. House I done been sleeping, staying in the trap. Right across the street. And like I walk outside and there's so many memories because all 3 houses, one was the bando, one was Lisa them house, and then it was the trap. I was right across the street from all this. I walk down the street and it's like I'm walking down and having flashes. I could just walk down the street and see people standing on the corner how it used to be. I asked God why. And that day when he was washing my car, I heard the prodigal son returns to not be consumed by the darkness that was there, but to be the beacon of light. The way I've been moving, not me, God, the way God been having me move. Hey, what? Oh, man, I'm telling you, see, God ain't playing this morning. God ain't playing this morning. God ain't, did not listen. God ain't playing this morning, boy. Bro, you rolled right past me. Man, hey, this Buster brother, this my nigga YG. I ain't on live, bro. Yeah, for real. Stood 10 toes down in the chain game. Hold up.